Support WrestleTalk!
Share this video on social media.
Thank you for being an awesome pledgehammer on Patreon, Astounding Abdullah Alanazi. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Stacked News. I am Chopper Pete Quinnell. Today is a public holiday in the UK, so everyone else at WrestleTalk HQ has the day off. But I'm still here, just doing the news by myself, all alone, with no one to talk to. It's fine. I'm not lonely. You're lonely. Shut up. For fans of Screen Stalker, because of everyone abandoning me and forcing me to deal with my crippling loneliness, there will be no Screen Stalker video today, but it will make its grand return tomorrow, so fear not. We've got a packed show for you on the news today though, including Kenny Omega wrestling outside of AEW, a Ring of Honor star suffering a gruesome injury, Edge getting in tremendous shape maybe for an in-ring return, and Braun Strowman airing his frustrations with WWE. Click the timestamps in the video description below to be taken to any of those stories right now. While you're down there, make sure to leave this video a like, press the subscribe button and the bell icon, which will enable notifications so you never miss another WrestleTalk video, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day, which today is, when do you think Braun Strowman should have won the Universal title, if at all? But first, let's kick things off with some AEW news. And after the shocking announcement last weekend that Jon Moxley would be forced to pull out of AEW's next big show, All Out, where he was due to face Kenny Omega, things were not looking great for the company. Or for me, for that matter, as the All Out Rumors video that I did that went out yesterday was filmed prior to that announcement. But don't worry, the comment section told me so. With Pac announced as Moxley's replacement, things seem to be getting back on track for AEW. But then there was yet another injury scare for one of AEW's top stars over the weekend. At a big-time wrestling show, one half of the Lucha Bros, Fenix, reportedly suffered a nasty injury, with some fearing he may have actually broken his leg. Obviously, his status for All Out was very much in question, with some fearing the worst, thinking that yet another marquee match would have to be changed less than a week before it was due to air. Luckily though, it seems a crisis has been averted, as Taya Valkyrie has taken to Twitter to update us on the situation. Just spoke to Fenix and he is going to be okay. Thank God. Praying emoji. No break, thank God. While this doesn't exactly confirm his status for All Out, it's at least reassuring to hear that his leg is not broken, which at least gives him a fighting chance of being ready for All Out this Saturday. From personal experience, I can assure you that breaking your leg is much worse than not breaking your leg. See, this is why you watch WrestleTalk, for insightful commentary like this. With All Out coming this Saturday, one eye for AEW will definitely be upon their impending TV debut on October 2nd on the TNT network. The first 3 weeks of weekly TV broadcasts have sold out their respective arenas, but for the 4th and 5th weeks of their show, things aren't looking quite so peachy. A story broke late last week from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer that despite AEW selling out the first 3 shows in Washington DC, Boston, and Philadelphia in a few hours, a lot of those tickets were bought by scalpers, or bots that buy a large amount of tickets for resale to make a profit, with plenty of those tickets still available for purchase. For AEW's 4th and 5th shows in Pittsburgh and Charleston respectively, AEW and Ticketmaster implemented more security measures to prevent scalping for these shows. Luckily for us, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer did some digging as the public ticket sales were not available, and found that the first of the 2 shows in Pittsburgh sold around 4,000 tickets on the first day. The Charleston show drew just under this number, but is still being touted as a success. For a comparison, WWE normally sells about 6,000 to 8,000 in the Pittsburgh area, so AEW is looking to draw about 50 to 66% of what WWE normally does. But enough with the numbers. While AEW are on course for success, their roster expands ever larger, with several debuts penciled in for All Out on Saturday. One thing AEW have drawn some flack over is their exclusivity deals, which some fans saw as a bit too similar to what WWE are doing. Now though, things may be about to change. One of AEW's executive vice presidents, Kenny Omega, has been announced to return to DDT in Japan, where he last wrestled in 2014. He'll be teaming with Riho, who competed at both Double or Nothing and Fyter Fest, to take on the team of Antonio Honda and Miyu Yamashita in a mixed tag match. I personally have seen Yamashita at a Frontline show, and she is incredible. This should be an outstanding match. This marks an interesting milestone for AEW, which could open the door for other contracted talent in the company to appear in other promotions. Speaking of people appearing for wrestling promotions, CM Punk has been linked with an appearance for both AEW at All Out and WWE as a host for a talk show on FS1, and it appears the love for the performer is still there, as at a WWE house show this past weekend in Lima, Peru, there was a very interesting exchange. Daniel Bryan was facing WWE champion Kofi Kingston, and at one point Bryan turned to the crowd and yelled, "Who's the best?" which prompted the crowd to chant CM Punk back at him. In response to this, Bryan hit the GTS, not once, but twice on Kofi Kingston, and then Kingston hit his own GTS on Bryan. I mean, that's one way to respond to CM Punk chants, I guess. The actual creator of the GTS wasn't quite so happy though. The newest member of the Bullet Club, KENTA, took to Twitter to say, "Just letting you know, copyright 2004 KENTA." I think that means they owe him some royalties or something. Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston to New Japan confirmed? Speaking of New Japan, and this Saturday on August 31st, New Japan is holding their Royal Quest show at the Copperbox Arena in London, which is literally across the road from where I am right now. As such, the entire WrestleTalk crew are going to have a meetup for those of you members of the SWAF Nation who are also going to the show. Next to the Copperbox Arena is a pub called the Four Quarters, filled with arcade machines, video games, and of course, alcohol. All of us will be there from about 3 p.m. onwards, so if any of you are heading to Royal Quest, come on by the Four Quarters beforehand and have a drink with us. We won't bite. Promise. In other news, did you know that PCO is actually insane? The Ring of Honor star has always certainly been unique, but at Ring of Honor's center stage, PCO decided to get himself injured? In a tag match of Villain Enterprises versus Lifeblood, PCO did a suicide dive to the opposite side of the ring to where his opponents were. Considering there was no one there to catch him, he then promptly smashed his face into the floor, because of course that would happen if you dive headfirst into the floor with no one to catch you. This resulted in him needing 17 stitches above his right eye. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, he is legitimately insane. In slightly lighter news, heading into the very interesting pro wrestling month of October, WWE are preparing in their own way by claiming AEW are counter-programming WWE, and definitely not the other way around. Classic WWE. On top of this, WWE have filed some new trademarks under their name ahead of NXT's move to the USA Network. These include Aaliyah, Matt Riddle, Bianca Belair, Drew Gulak, Humberto Carrillo, the Iconics, and interestingly, Walter. Does this mean Walter could be doing some more appearances for NXT instead of NXT UK? Yes, please. Perhaps we could get some 24/7 title shenanigans on NXT debut on USA, because Lord knows, we've not had enough of that. This past weekend was no exception, with a complete non-wrestler winning the title for the first time. R-Truth regained the 24/7 title from Elias at the Fox Founders Day event, while Drake Maverick ran distraction. That didn't last long though, as Truth was hiding on a studio set. As he left, he tripped over, and Fox personality Rob Stone kneeled to check on Truth, and then pinned him to become champion. But Elias then rolled him up a few seconds later to regain the title. This is honestly just fun. Speaking of fun, and I don't think we've talked about The Fiend enough on this channel yet, have we? Well, luckily for this video, we won't be talking about how we might be getting family friendly. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And I'm scared. A man behind the prop making for The Fiend by the name of Jason Baker recently spoke to GameSpot about the character and how it all came together. Firstly, he credited Bray for this entire character being his brainchild, which is another confirmation of Bray being awesome. While he spoke about the process of creating some of the props, including the severed head lantern and the Fiend mask, it was this little nugget that has people very excited. They need to keep watching because they haven't seen anything yet. If they think this is the greatest thing to ever happen, they just need to keep watching. It's going to blow them away. I have no idea where the character is going from here, but man, I am excited. It's one of the most intriguing and exciting things I've seen in quite some time. Not just in wrestling, but in general. Give me more of it, please. While The Fiend made his in-ring debut at SummerSlam and stole the hearts and minds of the wrestling industry, another moment from the show caught the headlines, with that being WWE Hall of Famer Edge returning to the ring and hitting a spear on Elias, the first time he's hit the move since 2011. While whispers of an in-ring return made the rounds, it seemed like it was more of a hopeful wish than anything concrete. Now though, Edge has sparked up more rumors of an in-ring return by posting a picture of him being in incredible shape, possibly the best shape of his entire life. The caption of the post on Instagram mentions about going through the grief of losing his mother and his father-in-law, and how getting back in shape has helped propel his life forwards. But you know, wrestling fans, Edge to WWE confirmed. In all seriousness, it's great to see Edge pushing himself back to health again, and he looks great. If he's medically cleared to do one more match, I would love to see it. Someone who's hoping to have a lot more than one more match is current Raw Tag Team Champion Braun Strowman, who was recently a guest on Sam Roberts' podcast. It's not been a great time for Braun in the last couple of years, never quite reaching his potential of his highest point in 2017. While on the podcast, he spoke of his frustrations in WWE and having a sit-down chat with Vince McMahon himself in about February this year. I got to a point where I was really frustrated with everything that was going on. I called Vince and I was like, Vince, what is going on? I'm miserable. I walked into the production meeting one day and I was like, I've had enough. I was just mad about everything. He kicked everybody out of the production meeting like 2 hours before Raw was about to start. The show wasn't even done, and talked to me for 45 minutes. Heart to heart, man-to-man conversation, and opened my eyes to the picture of like, wow, why am I worrying about this? It's just, Vince doesn't get the credit that is due to him. He's an unbelievable man, and I'm fortunate to not only work for him, but to call him my friend. I don't know. Sounds like a Jedi mind trick to me. In all seriousness though, Braun spoke more about Vince believing in him, investing in him, and he's not worried about what he's doing now, he's worried about what he's doing 10 years from now. Which is nice, I guess, but also a bit counterintuitive. I mean, if you've got him, and he's hot, why not use him now? But hey, I'm not a multi-millionaire running a global wrestling company, so what do I know? While there's no Screen Stalker video today, you should definitely head on over there and give us a subscribe so you know when our video tomorrow goes live. And check out Friday's WrestleTalk news video if you want to see Luke's SummerSlam punishment of doing the Muscle Man dance. Before you go though, press the thumbs up, subscribe, and bell icon here on WrestleTalk, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell, and that was wrestling.